At the shadowy fringes of Cheng's underground market, the night hummed with quiet dealings. Stalls buzzed with suspicious exchanges, rare elixirs, odd trinkets, and things best not asked about. But at one corner, a weary young man was closing another deal. His words were simple but heavy. He'd sold off so many of his own body parts over the last 6 months that he doubted he'd make it another week. The seller, unfazed, gave a nod. "As long as you're sure." "I am," the man said, "for my terminally ill sister. But that tale, pure fiction. His name was Yonglin. No sister, no tragic backstory, just a resourceful transmigrator with a rare gift. Regeneration. No matter how damaged his body, it healed. Even lost organs, regrown. He wasn't desperate, he was determined. He had a goal: gather 100,000 yuan to attend the job change ceremony. And now, bruised but intact again, he clutched 30,000 yuan, the final portion. Time to step into the next phase. To others, Yonglin was just a quiet scholarship kid. Rumors spread quickly. Why is he even here? Can he even afford it? But Yong stood firm. When asked, he looked teacher Wang in the eye and calmly explained, "I took out a job change loan. I'm ready." Even the more sympathetic voices couldn't help but worry. If he gets a worthless job, he'll spend his whole life paying that loan off. With a sigh and a glance at the crowd, she waved him in. "Then go. The ceremony's starting." Inside the hall, excitement simmered. Dozens of students, each one hoping for power, recognition, maybe a ticket out of poverty. Then came Matt Damon from Class 5. Not the actor, of course, but another poor student with tired eyes and hopeful hands. "Relax," the principal told him. Matt placed his hand on the stone. The magic swirled, shimmered, then dulled. A-rank, poultry breeder. Silence, then whispers, then chuckles. "Well, that's eggs for life," someone muttered. "Chickens and ducks," another sighed. "That's his future." The principal tried to soften the blow. "Every job has value," he said, though even his voice lacked conviction. Then the atmosphere shifted as Kira Knightley stepped forward. Her presence pulled the attention of the entire hall. Confident, graceful, she placed her hand on the platform. A burst of fire. A majestic phoenix-like bird erupted, wings stretching wide above the crowd. Gasps echoed. The principal stared, wide-eyed. "SSS, rank fire wizard!" The audience broke into stunned applause. Chongqing Academy had just gained a symbol of pride. "She's on another level," someone whispered. Yonglin watched quietly, taking note. Even an SS rank couldn't survive 1,000 onslaughts alone, he thought. Power alone wasn't enough. Strategy mattered. Resolve mattered. Finally, his name was called. As he walked past Kira, he didn't glance at her. He'd made up his mind. He wouldn't just be another name in the crowd. He placed his hand on the platform. The stone trembled. Energy surged. A roar. A blinding flash of blue shot upward as a dragon-shaped aura burst forth, spiraling into the ceiling like a storm let loose. Gasps turned into stunned silence. Eyes wide, mouths agape. No one expected the quiet scholarship kid to shake the room like this. But Yonglin just stood there, eyes calm, as if he'd been waiting for this moment all along. Because he had. And fate had finally blinked first. The principal of Chongqing Academy stood motionless for a second too long, blinking at the roaring blue aura still crackling in the air around Yonglin. 2 SSS rank awakenings in one day. First Kira Knightley, now this? Another anomaly, he muttered under his breath, equal parts astonished and slightly alarmed. Kira herself narrowed her eyes, watching the still glowing platform. Is he going to receive an SSSSS level position too? Whispers rustled through the crowd like wind through dry leaves. No way. That guy, the scholarship kid? He borrowed money to switch jobs and landed this? And then came the announcement. Yonglin has awakened the SS rank combat class, Great Forbidden Mage. The principal straightened with pride, voice booming. Today, Chongqing Academy celebrates one of its brightest stars. Applause started, hesitant at first, but then, just as quickly, the atmosphere shifted. The principal's smile faltered. "Wait," he muttered again, squinting at the evaluation screen. "Forbidden mage." The hall fell silent. Then, laughter exploded. They'd all heard the stories. No forbidden mage had ever lived past 25. The class was powerful, yes, but its spells consumed the caster's own life force. To many, it was a curse disguised as a blessing. In that moment, the crowd's amazement twisted into mockery. "He's finished," someone laughed. "Sold his organs just to die early. A specter with homework. Most useless SSS rank ever." Even Kira, stepping away from the ceremony hall, looked back once and sighed. What a shame. Yong heard every word, every jab, every sneer, and yet his face barely changed. He turned to the principal. "Is it really true? No forbidden mage lives past 25? The principal, now visibly awkward, tried to soften the blow. "Don't be too pessimistic. As they say, it's better to shine brightly for a short time than to flicker in the dark forever." Yong gave a small, appreciative nod. "Then I'll burn brightly, brighter than anyone." The principal smiled, touched by the resolve. "Come with me. You and Kira both need special training plans. Let's make the most of your time." "Thank you, sir," Yong said, bowing. But deep down he was grinning. They don't know. His was no ordinary body. Forbidden mages burned fast, but he couldn't burn out. Regeneration wasn't just his secret, it was his trump card. The ceremony had left him drained, both emotionally and physically. All he wanted now was to head home and sleep off the weight of the day. But fate wasn't done just yet. Kira Knightley intercepted him at the academy gates. "Join my team," she said bluntly. "You'll burn out faster if you fight alone." Her tone wasn't cold, just calculated, honest. "This isn't out of pity," she added. "I just don't want to see you waste yourself." Yong blinked. "That was almost nice." He gave a polite shake of the head. "I appreciate it, but I'll pass. For now." Kira shrugged, walking off. "Waste of good advice, ghost boy. Do whatever you like." Yong stood there, slightly stunned. Ghost boy. Before he could process that nickname, a group of punks stepped out from the shadows of the gate. "Well, well," the leader smirked, "if it isn't our new superstar." They weren't just random bullies. They were part of the campus crowd that disliked anyone stepping too close to the G family, especially someone like Yong, who was definitely not born into privilege. "You think someone like you gets to talk to Kira?" One sneered. "You've got guts." Yong sighed, rubbing his temple. "I just want to go home." "Home?" The punk laughed. "You mean that little 10-square-meter box you sleep in?" Yong didn't respond. "You should call me Dad, and maybe I'll get you a job. G group's looking for janitors." Yong looked at the guy for a moment. No anger, no panic. Just tired. "I'm not calling anyone Dad," he muttered, "and I'm really too exhausted to care." "If you land that security job at G Group," one punk sneered, "you better start bowing to Guy Shane now." Another chuckled. "Hey, once you're paid, maybe buy some incense sticks for your dead orphanage family." That last line hit harder than they realized. The laughter that followed wasn't just mocking. It was cruel, loud, and thoughtless. Yonglin stood frozen, his fists trembling at his sides. Words came like knives, sharper because they didn't even know how deep they cut. One voice jeered, "Guess if your family wasn't qualified enough to live, huh?" A quiet fury was building. Yong's gaze lifted, eyes now burning with something far more intense than anger. "This," he muttered, raising his hand, "this is all that you brought about." The air shifted. The punks stopped laughing. "Wait, you're not seriously gonna—" Before they could finish, a forbidden spell began to activate, drawing heat, light, and dread in equal measure. Panic set in immediately. He's lost it! Why would he use a ban spell over some insults? They bolted, practically tripping over one another to escape. Yong didn't chase them. He just yelled after them, "Come back, I'll repeat it for you." Of course, none of them returned. To them, Yong wasn't just angry, he was unhinged. One reckless spell and their bullying dissolved into fear faster than anyone expected. But for Yong, the victory was bitter, his body shook. The backlash from the spell was intense, his cells screaming, his vision flickering. From a nearby rooftop, Kira Knightley watched in silence. "He really cast a forbidden spell," she whispered. She turned away, her judgment clear. Someone who would risk their life so easily, even with an SSS rank, wouldn't last long. To her, Yong Lin didn't seem worthy of standing beside her after all. At home, Yong collapsed into bed. He glanced at his system window through blurry eyes. There it was, the familiar list of magical exchange costs. A bladder for thunder, a lung for flame, a heart for purple lightning. And then, the final option. Chaos Divine Thunder, a spell that would burn even his immortal regeneration to ash. A wave of pain hit him, his regeneration faltering from the strain. He blacked out, falling into sleep deeper than exhaustion. Elsewhere, in the polished halls of a private residence, Ji Shane wasn't laughing. "He made a fool of me," Shane muttered, eyes burning with resentment. "Bring someone. We're taking him down. Stop." The figure before him was calm, older, and unshaken. "You clearly weren't listening to your father's lessons. You don't kill a forbidden mage." "Why not?" "Because you don't need to. He's poor, reckless, alone. All you have to do is wait. Use your strength, your influence. Take advantage of what he protects. That's how you win." Shane fell silent, taking it in. The next day, Ching Ching Academy buzzed with news. An inter-school trial exam was coming. A vibrant poster on the gates welcomed students and teachers from nearby academies. Yong showed up late, still groggy from the prior night's damage. His steps were slow, but the stairs were fast. Everyone had heard something. Is that him? The one who used a forbidden spell? Did he really scare Shane off? Then suddenly, loud and clear, someone called out, "Good morning, big bro Yang. Had breakfast yet?" It was Shane. Yong stopped cold. "Oh, are you trying to poison me?" Shane grinned and held up a warm breakfast box. "Yeah, I brought this to thank you." "For what?" "Your existence hit me like lightning," Shane said with mock sincerity, or maybe real sincerity wrapped in too much drama. "I realized I've been wasting my life. You gave me clarity." Yong narrowed his eyes. "Cut the nonsense. What do you really want?" Without a trace of sarcasm, Shane dropped to one knee. "I want to admit something. You're my big brother now." The courtyard fell into stunned silence. "Did I hit your head too hard yesterday?" Yong asked, utterly baffled. "No," Shane said firmly. "I'm serious. After you humbled me, I thought long and hard. I need someone to look up to, and that's you. Well, if I'm your big brother, shouldn't you be paying tuition?" Shane, ever eager to prove his sincerity, nodded. Of course. Just give me your account number. I'll transfer it right away." Without hesitation, Yang recited his digits. "Send over 2 million. That's the initial fee." Shane froze mid-click. 2 million? Yang tilted his head innocently. "What? Too much?" Shane, regaining composure with the grace of someone to be trying not to look broke, forced a smile. "No, not at all. I'll have my father wire it immediately." Just then, the school speakers blared, "Attention! The portal to the new player dungeon is now open. All candidates may proceed. We hope everyone performs excellently." A crowd began to gather, buzzing with energy. Teachers from visiting schools whispered among themselves, pointing toward Yang and Shane. "Are those the SSS-level students from Kuomingqing?" one asked. "They're certainly not blending in," another replied. The Qingcheng principal sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "I told them to keep a low profile." But despite the frown, he couldn't help the proud little smile tugging at his lips. He acted irritated, mostly to make the other schools feel just a little jealous. As the guests left, one teacher grinned. "Careful not to get too proud, Principal. High falls hurt the most." Inside the academy grounds, the portal pulsed with light. One by one, students prepared to step in. Just before entering, Keira Knightley approached Yang again. "Want to partner up?" she asked. Yang declined with his usual polite firmness. "I'm fine on my own." Keira raised a brow. "You're either too confident or just planning to die young." Without another word, Yang turned and entered the portal. The teleport dropped him into a strange clearing. Empty, silent. "Random drop?" Yang muttered. "Figures?" From the bushes, a creature pounced. It was a small spotted cat, leopard-like but hardly threatening. "Well, let's see how you do." With one swing, it was over, plus 10 XP. Yang stared at the number flatly. 10 XP. I traded a kidney for this. Frustrated but undeterred, he wandered deeper and was quickly surrounded by a full pack of monsters. "Finally," he grinned, "a proper test." He activated Burning Reincarnation. A blazing aura enveloped him. Power surged through his limbs. His speed, strength, and spirit doubled. Even he had to admit, the transformation felt dangerous. With one strike, he tore through the crowd. His movements were too fast to follow, a blur of fire and lightning. Monster after monster fell before they even registered the attack, but after a minute, the toll on his body was clear. He felt the strain creeping in. His regeneration, though powerful, couldn't take endless punishment. To play it safe, Yang cancelled the spell early, muttering, "Let's not expose too much." He dropped to the ground and activated Immortal Reverse Life, sacrificing his own hand. Pressing his remaining palm to the floor, he etched a glowing symbol. World Ender, Extreme Thunder. A blinding surge erupted. Wolves, 30 XP, two-headed snakes, 50 XP, iron scorpions, 60 XP, centaurs, bees. Wave after wave fell. The field turned to charred ash. Then came the alert, level up, level 3 achieved, new forbidden spell unlocked. Infernal fire burnt sky. Elsewhere, Keira Knightley had just entered the portal herself. She stopped abruptly. The entire landscape was scorched, blackened earth, smoke curling in the air, and dozens of defeated monsters lying in silence. Her eyes narrowed. What happened here? Then she spotted a lingering flame. She knew it immediately. Infernal fire. But only she had that kind of magic, or so she thought. "How is this possible?" she whispered. The air was still, the scent of scorched earth clinging faintly to the wind. Keira Knightley stood quietly for a moment, eyes narrowed at the distant sky. A massive pillar of black smoke curled upward like a warning flare. It wasn't natural. She felt the fire magic in it. Potent, untamed, maybe even stronger than her own. That shouldn't be possible. Her gaze hardened. Xing Chang was known to hide secrets, abilities others weren't meant to see. Whoever triggered that fire was no ordinary student. Keira clenched her fist. "I will find whoever did that." Not too far away, Young lounged by a modest campfire, skewering slabs of tender, three-eyed magic pig. The meat sizzled over the flame, and he let out a soft sigh of satisfaction. The earlier battle had drained him, and this impromptu barbecue was more necessity than luxury. One bite, chew, pause, eyes closed in delight. "This might be the best pig I've ever had," he murmured, "even if it did try to bite my leg off." His moment of peace, however, ended abruptly. "What are you doing here?" came a sharp voice. Young flinched internally. Great. Keira Knightley emerged from the trees, arms crossed. Of all people, this was the last one he wanted to see. "I'm eating," he said flatly, not even bothering to stand. "Roasted something I found." Keira didn't waste time. "I told you. Forbidden mage jobs aren't meant to solo grind. You'll regret this path." She waved a hand dismissively as she started walking past him. "I'm not here to team up. I have work to do, so don't follow me." Young raised a brow. "I wasn't. You were the one who showed up here." She stopped, blinked. "Well, whatever." Then, as if she just remembered something important, she turned. "I need to ask you something." He blinked. "Go ahead." "There's someone I'm tracking," she said seriously. They used a fire spell unlike anything I've seen. Infernal fire. Young's expression remained still, but his mind raced. She's on to me. Feigning ignorance, he shrugged. Never heard of that, but I did see a guy earlier. Real handsome. Walked off that way. He pointed in a random direction. Kira narrowed her eyes, then gave a small nod. Shh. If it weren't for you wasting my time earlier, maybe I'd have caught him already. And with that, she turned and marched off. Young let out a breath. Finally. But just moments later, the forest trembled. A crashing sound echoed through the trees. Kira froze and looked up, eyes going wide. An enormous monster, a dragon-blooded beast, at least level 8, charged directly at her. She reacted quickly, leaping to safety. What's an 8th level creature doing here? She gasped. This was a starting dungeon. No one was supposed to face something this powerful here. She grit her teeth and began flinging fireballs at it, but they barely fazed the beast. Some of her spells were even deflected. Then one slammed directly into her. She tumbled to the ground, dazed. Her limbs were heavy. This was bad. Was this it? Defeated like this in a training zone. Too embarrassing. But before the monster could finish her off, a voice rang out. Hey, try having some manners. A surge of burning energy exploded across the clearing. Hellfire. The dragon-blooded beast didn't even have time to roar. Flames consumed it in an instant, turning it to ash in the blink of an eye. Kira's eyes widened. That was no ordinary fire magic. She looked up and saw a boy standing calmly in the smoke, completely unfamiliar. His presence didn't feel threatening, just powerful. Ridiculously powerful. Thank you, she managed. Who are you? He smiled faintly. Ling Yong. She blinked. Wait, Yong? Like Yang Lin Yong? Different spelling, he replied smoothly. She wasn't convinced, but let it go for the moment. Which school are you from? I'd like to thank you properly. He waved it off. No need, I was just passing through. The forest crackled faintly with lingering heat as Kira called out, Wait, please. Yong paused for just a moment, but didn't turn around. His voice was calm and distant. Don't follow me, the beasts ahead. They're not ones you should mess with. He glanced back ever so slightly and added, Also, maybe change your outfit first. Kira froze, cheeks tinting red. She immediately understood what he meant. The last battle had left her looking more like she lost a bet than won a duel. Flustered, she huffed. I'll catch up to you eventually, she shouted after him. Just wait, one day I'll stand by your side. Then, like a determined hero out of a storybook, bouncing between branches with a speed and style suspiciously similar to a certain ninja anime. Once Yong was sure she was gone, he finally came to a stop. That girl's going to be the end of me, he muttered, ruffling his hair. A total time thief. Just then, a soft chime echoed in his mind. A system message appeared. New forbidden spell unlocked. One with death. Sacrifice 2 years of life. Gain immunity to 1 fatal attack. Yong's brows lifted. Now that's something. As a forbidden spellcaster, he was used to trading time off his life like coins at a gacha machine. But this spell, this was next level. He could take a blow straight through the heart or even survive losing his head and still fight. A grin crept onto his face. He laughed, at first under his breath, then loud, manic, echoing into the forest. With this, no one can stop me from leveling up. 3 days passed. The final day of the trial arrived, and the audience buzzed with anticipation. If my kid hits level 8, I'll be happy, one parent whispered. Near the front, the principals of the academies sat together, watching the displays. One leaned in. Even 2 SSS tier students won't matter if they can't hit a high level. Sometimes levels mean more than class. The head of Chwing Academy nodded slowly, eyes gleaming. Let's see if anyone breaks the record. Level 11 still stands. Just then, a man in silver robes approached. May I join you all? He asked, smiling warmly. Mr. Leon, one principal exclaimed. Of course, it's an honor. Leon, widely known as the top astrologer in the city, gave a humble laugh. "You're too kind. I'm only here to check on my daughter." The Qingyi Chung principal chuckled. "Such a doting father, but don't worry, she's doing incredibly well." Suddenly, someone emerged from the portal. The timer hadn't run out. Murmurs spread. Why would anyone exit early? Were they hurt? A familiar figure stepped forward. Kira Knightley. Leon immediately stood. "Neen." Kira blinked at the sight of her father. "What are you doing here?" Before he could answer, the Qingyi Chung principal leaned in. "Wait, what level did you reach? And why exit early?" Kira brushed a stray hair behind her ear, casually saying, "I hit level 12. Gasps rang through the arena. Level 12? That shattered the standing record, and from a fire element mage, no less. The principal could barely hold back his pride. "Outstanding," he laughed. "I knew our students would do it." Leon, however, gave a half-smile. "She's still stubborn. Had she waited, she might have hit level 13. Kira shrugged. It got boring. Too hard finding level 10 monsters, and the XP was a scam. But deep inside, she knew the real reason she left. "I'm going to find you, Yong. You're not getting away this time." Elsewhere within the dungeon, Yong stood among piles of scorched earth and ash. Not a single beast remained in the level 10 zone. He wiped his nose with a frown. "Achoo." He blinked. "Weird. It's not even cold here. Someone must be talking about me." He looked around, empty. "Too fast. I cleared them too fast." He glanced at his system screen and smirked. "Time to try out my new forbidden spell. Let's see what sudden dance can do." With a quick breath and no hesitation, he offered up one of his kidneys. Pain surged for a moment, then vanished, replaced by raw speed. 10 times his natural agility, even a level 50 assassin would seem sluggish in comparison. Grinning with dangerous delight, Yong shot across the forest like a lightning bolt come to life. Trees blurred, the wind screamed past him, the earth barely felt his touch. Then, target spotted. 3-headed cyclone mantises, notorious for their erratic movement and sharp wind blades. To most, a nightmare. To Yong, just training dummies. He didn't plan to waste time. For his next spell, he gave up his bladder, yes, really, and unleashed world-destroying raging thunder, a forbidden art of sheer overkill. In a single flash, the mantises were reduced to scattered ash. Outside the portal, students were beginning to return. Some stumbled out, wide-eyed and pale, others crying quietly, clinging to life and sanity. This trial had pushed everyone to their limits. Kira Knightley stood tall among them, eyes locked on the portal's shimmer. Her arms crossed, her foot tapped. "Where is he?" she murmured. "He has to come out soon." With just 5 minutes left on the clock, the academy instructors began guiding students back to their school sections. It was nearly over. Whispers floated through the crowd. Kira was already the top-ranked student. The principals of other schools exchanged uneasy glances, and one finally said with a half-smile, "Old Gao, it seems your academy's truly blessed this year." Principal Gao nodded but remained quiet. His thoughts were elsewhere. "Where's the second SCSS student?" Kira frowned. "Did I miss him somehow? That doesn't make sense. I've waited the whole time." Just then, another figure emerged from the portal. The silhouette looked familiar. Too familiar. She narrowed her eyes. It's him. But as the figure stepped out, her expression fell. It was Yong, yes, but not the mysterious, powerful figure she had built up in her mind. No grand entrance. No aura of triumph. He simply strolled out and muttered, "Time's up, so I left." "Is there a problem?" Kira blinked in disbelief, her disappointment written all over her face. "Don't even talk to me, just go." Yong raised a brow, baffled. Wasn't planning on chatting anyway. Then Principal Gao approached. "Well?" he asked calmly. "Oh, what level did you reach?" Yong replied in a flat tone. "Level 16. The world stood still. Students, instructors, even other principals went dead silent. Level 16, someone whispered. That can't be right. The previous record was level 11. Yong had shattered it, obliterated it. The math spoke volumes. To reach level 16 from level 1, one needed 12,000 experience points. The most powerful beast in that trial, a level 10 monster, offered 100 XP. That meant Yong had defeated 1,200 of them. It was absurd, impossible. And yet, here he stood. Principal Gao smiled faintly, arms behind his back. Magnificent. Qing Cheng Academy is proud of you. Even Leon, standing beside his daughter, nodded with rare approval. Impressive work, young man. But Kira didn't share the sentiment. She raised her voice, cutting through the moment. Of course he did. He's a forbidden spellcaster. Anyone who sacrifices their own organs and years of their life just to power through would level up quickly. The room changed again. Murmurs broke out. He's one of them. No wonder. Crazy. Reckless. The other principals now understood. Forbidden spellcasters often lived fast and rarely long. Many didn't even make it to their 25th birthday. Yong's pace? At this rate, he might not make it to 20. Some chuckled, dark humor masked by discomfort. He traded his life for bragging rights. That's just foolish. Why would you allow this? One asked sharply. Did you push him to do this? For the Academy's reputation? Gao's eyes turned serious. Absolutely not. I would never gamble with a student's life. Yong made his own choices. He looked towards Yong, who stood quietly, not basking in any glory, just watching, thinking, waiting, and the others, one by one, fell silent again. No one forced me, he said, calm yet resolute. I chose this path myself. I came from a family where we didn't have much. People always looked down on me like I didn't belong. But now, I finally got a chance to rise. Even if I push myself to the limit, even if I burn out at my best, I won't regret it. I want the entire country to know I can do this. The crowd was silent for a beat, and then applause. Leon stepped up, clapping enthusiastically, his expression impressed and even a little proud. Now that's what ambition sounds like, he said. Whether anyone wants to admit it or not, you're the top-ranked student of this novice secret realm. Number 1 without question. He handed Yong a sleek silver-edged card. I'm Leon Knightley, Kira's father. If you ever find yourself in need, give me a call. But Kira Knightley did not look pleased. With arms crossed and a defiant tilt to her chin, she snapped, He's not number 1, not yet. Not until Ling Yong comes out. His level will be just as high, maybe even higher. This caught Leon's attention. Ling Yong? He repeated, brows raising. And who is this genius? Principal Gao glanced at the student lists and scratched his head. I don't recall any Ling Yong registered with us. The other Academy representatives looked equally puzzled. No one by that name on our end either. But Kira was unwavering. He's real. He's brilliant. You'll see once he comes out. Meanwhile, Yong stared blankly at her, internally sighing. This girl again? Why is she always dragging me into her fantasy plots? He gave a small wave to the group. Anyway, I'm heading home. It's been a long day. Leon smiled and nodded. Safe journey, son. Principal Gao gave him a parting word as well. Get some rest. The official test is only 3 days away. Yong nodded, already well aware of the looming challenge. As the portal's glow finally dimmed and the exam officially closed, Kira stood behind, watching intently. Where did Ling Yong go? She murmured, scanning the empty portal. Did he slip out when I wasn't looking? Naturally, she decided this too was Yong's fault. Leon tried to ease her frustration. Maybe Yong and Ling Yong are actually the same person. Kira looked horrified. No way. They're nothing alike. Yong fled the moment the blood dragon showed up. But Ling Yong, he uses powerful fire magic. He saved me. Leon blinked. Right. I'll take your word for it. That night, Yong sat on his bed, one hand behind his head, the other on his pillow. "Why do I feel like someone's out there, just talking trash about me?" he muttered. Just then, a knock at the door. Yong narrowed his eyes. This late? Who even knows where I live? He opened the door cautiously, revealing a sharply dressed man with a polite smile. "Good evening. Are you Yong?" "I am. Who's asking?" The man gave a respectful bow. "My name is Manager Wong from Liquid Limited Company, the largest health supplement brand in the city. I've heard about your record-breaking achievement in the rookie secret realm." "Congratulations," Yong blinked. Thanks? I'm here with a proposal. We'd be honored if you'd consider becoming a spokesperson for our flagship product, Order Liquid." Yong raised an eyebrow. "A spokesperson?" "Yes. Of course, we understand the value of your time." Manager Wong handed him a neatly printed brochure. "We're offering a guaranteed reward, at least a 3-figure sum." Yong looked skeptical. "You mean like a few hundred?" Wong smiled wider. "Actually, 3 million." Yong nearly choked. "Wait, what?" Manager Wong gestured to the bottle on the brochure. Order Liquid is a 100-year-old formula designed to nourish the brain and stimulate cellular rejuvenation. Some even say it can make you feel a few years younger. Yong stared at the bottle, his thoughts spiraling. For 3 million. Someone might give up a few extra organs, he thought dryly. Is this what fame brings? Wong added, "You can try it first, of course. If you don't like it, full refund guaranteed." That's how confident we are. Yong tilted the small vial of Order Liquid to his lips, took a sip, and gave a casual nod. "Hey, not bad. Tastes kind of like minty honey." He blinked, the world tilted, his legs wobbled, and then thud. He collapsed. Manager Wong's smug smile flickered briefly before he pulled out his phone and made the call. "It's done," he said flatly. "Didn't even need the backup plan. Kid drank it willingly. Absolute fool." On the other end, a gravelly voice responded, "Good. Bring him to the site." Not long after, a dimly lit warehouse on the outskirts of Chingching stirred to life. Outside, a few drifters warmed their hands by a crackling campfire, unaware or perhaps unconcerned about what went on inside. Manager Wong made the drop-off and returned to report. "Boss, the kid's in. But mind if I ask something?" He hesitated. "Why go through all this trouble for just one student?" The boss's voice turned cold. "Stop asking questions you shouldn't. Go take the front watch. No one comes in without my word. If someone does, handle it." Understood. Inside, Yong lay motionless. The warehouse's dim lights flickered above as the boss approached, curious. But the moment he checked Yong's condition, his eyes widened. Shock, awe, disbelief. "He regenerated everything," the man whispered, leaning in closer. "Coronary vessels, pupils, kidneys, stomach, everything. Everything's grown back." He stared, stunned. "Impossible," he muttered. "He gave up all these organs, and yet..." And then came the laugh. It started low and grew louder, echoing through the space. "If I can unlock the secret behind this, no one in this world would dare stand above me. Not nobles, not kings. I'll become..." But the laughter stopped short. Because Yong was now sitting in a chair, awake and completely calm. The boss froze. "You're awake?" Yong stretched his neck. "You've got a comfy chair. Didn't think I'd wake up here, though." The boss fumbled for a blade, eyes narrowing. "Well, if you're up, there's no point pretending. Just surrender quietly. Maybe I'll let you keep your legs." But Yong's eyes locked onto the man, and in that moment, he understood. This wasn't going to be easy. He could tell the boss wasn't an amateur. Level 20, a fellow job changer. Yong couldn't afford to start a fire, not in this place, so instead he whispered a spell known only to the daring and the reckless. Eye of Eternal Frost. A painful surge shot through him as one of his eyes clouded over and vanished from sight. A chilling aura burst outwards. Everything froze. The ground, the air, even the breath in the boss's throat turned to frost. He slashed with his blade, but it snapped like glass. This is insane, the boss gasped. You're level 16. This shouldn't be possible. But there was no answer. Just Yong, who rose from his seat, expression unreadable. Who else knows about my regeneration? The boss grunted. No one. I swear. That knowledge. I'd never share something so valuable. Yong paused, studying him. Then, with a swift motion, he delivered a devastating punch. The man's head cracked from the impact, and his stunned eyes went dark. Yong stood over him in silence. And I drank that liquid stuff too. Gross. He clenched a fist, then summoned a bolt of lightning, boom, that dropped every guard outside in a blink. Except one. The last goon, now trembling, fell to his knees. Please, don't kill me. I'll tell you everything. Yong didn't flinch. Then talk. The one behind this, it's Kenshin, the black market king of Qingcheng. On paper, he's a philanthropist. But in truth, Yong's eyes narrowed. That name, Kenshin, was not unfamiliar. A charity king loved by the media, praised by the city. So this rabbit hole runs deeper than I thought. Yong took a breath, processing the weight of this information. Then he looked down. No loose ends. The final strike was swift. Far across the city, in a lavish office behind a jade-paneled wall, a well-dressed man received the report. Sir, his assistant whispered nervously. The group pursuing that poor student, they've gone dark. Kenshin's smile faded slightly. For over half an hour, Kenshin's men had tried to reach their contact. Radio silence. Kenshin stood up from his chair, the calm expression on his face cracking for the first time. Find him, he barked, pacing. I want the missing man located immediately. Dead or alive, I don't care which. Elsewhere, a vehicle came to a halt. Yong stepped out and greeted the man waiting for him. Your house is big. Like really big. Shane shrugged. Perks of the family name, I guess. But then he brought up the topic of money. About the 2 million yuan you asked for earlier, I mentioned it to my father. There's been a small hiccup in the transfer. Yong's smile faded slightly. He didn't like the tone. The moment money was brought up in this way, especially after Shane had already called him boss, it felt a little too much like being sized up again. Shane noticed the shift. He chuckled, reaching out to clasp Yong's shoulder. Don't worry, I won't bring it up again. Just think of this place as your home from now on. Inwardly, Shane still believed Yong was simple-minded, but loyal, and right now, loyalty was everything. Meanwhile, Yong was doing his own thinking. If I stay inside the G estate for a while, he reasoned, even Kenshin wouldn't risk storming in here. It's too high profile. As they walked deeper into the estate, a line of elegant maids stepped out in greeting. Yong nearly stopped in his tracks. It was the kind of reception he'd only ever seen in movies. So this is how rich people live, he thought. No wonder everyone wants money. Then Shane, ever casual, nudged him. So, which one do you like? I can send her to your room tonight. Yong gave him a side glance. Was this guy being serious? Even the maids exchanged a few interested glances. One or two clearly didn't mind being helpful. Shane motioned to a few of them. Help the boss freshen up. Change of clothes and all that. I was joking, Yong replied dryly. Too bad, I wasn't, Shane said, still smiling. You're getting dressed anyway. We're going somewhere important. Curious, Yong asked. What's the occasion? You'll see once we get there. Sometime later, Yong found himself in an entirely new world. The Qingcheng annual auction. It was loud, lavish, and brimming with the city's elite. From business moguls to cultivators, every major player was in the room. Shane leaned over. Figured you've never been to one of these. Thought I'd introduce you around later. Yong, unimpressed, waved it off. Nah, you do your thing. I'll just find something to eat. Shane stared. In his head, seriously? We're surrounded by billionaires and this guy's thinking about snacks? Poor people really stay poor for a reason, Shane muttered to himself. But even he had to admit Yong looked like someone who hadn't had a proper meal in days. And technically he had given up his stomach not long ago. A little hunger was understandable. Yong didn't get far before a familiar voice cut through the noise. "You? Why are you here?" He turned slightly. Oh no, Keira Knightley, again. And this time she had a friend in tow, Lena, sharp-eyed and curious. Lena gave him a once-over. "Who's he?" Keira frowned. "Some guy who abandoned me in the secret realm. Thought he was a genius. Turns out he's just a coward." Yong quietly turned his face away. "Why does this woman show up everywhere I go?" Yong smiled to himself. If you only knew, he thought. You really do have bad luck. Just then, Shane returned, with a full group in tow. He stepped forward, beaming. "Everyone, I want you to meet my boss, Yong Lin." The group's jaws dropped. "Wait, boss?" Shane looked at them, dead serious. "Did I stutter? None of you are qualified to judge him. You don't even know what level he's at." The group quickly scrambled to check his stats. What they saw: shock, silence, respect. Yong Lin wasn't just someone who'd stumbled into this world, he was already rewriting it. The moment Yong's level was revealed, level 16, a hush swept through the auction crowd. Then the realization hit. "Yong Lin," someone echoed. Now they knew why the name sounded familiar. He was the top-ranked player in this season's Rookie Secret Realm. That alone left jaws hanging. After all, most of them had only reached level 6 at best by the time they exited the realm. For someone to reach level 16, it bordered on impossible. Yong, ever modest, raised a hand and offered a calm smile. "No need to be so surprised. I just had a bit more experience. That's all." Then, with a small sigh, he added, "Honestly, if I could have gone outside the city, I'd have taken you all with me. Could have leveled up together, and scored better in the final exam, too." That single statement turned the mood completely. One by one, the others instantly piped up, offering to join Yong on his next outing, eager to catch up. But Shane quickly waved them down. "You all know the rule. No student is allowed to leave the city before the final exam." Yong already knew that, but he also knew something they didn't. The final exam would take place outside the city, so when that time came, they would leave, and he could help them level up then. Still, there was one issue. Yong was strong, yes, but he had no equipment. Shane grinned confidently. "That's easy. Don't worry. Just take me along when you level up, and I'll buy you whatever you want at today's auction." Yong raised an eyebrow. "Are you serious?" Shane placed a hand over his heart. "Dead serious. Anything that helps you crush the final exam. My dad will support it." The auction began shortly after. A woman in a flowing blue dress stepped onto the stage. "Welcome, everyone," she announced. "I am King, and on behalf of the Shinball Auction House, I hope you all leave today with something truly special." She pulled the cover off the first item. An epic tier fire element skill scroll, perfect for any mage. Starting bid, $50,000, minimum raise, $100,000. Bids shot up like sparks, $50,000, $80,000, $120,000. Within seconds, it had climbed to $600,000. And then a calm voice cut through the noise. "3 million, said Leon. The room froze. Yong instantly understood. That scroll was for Keira Knightley, a fire element awakener, and her father wasn't holding back. He leaned back slightly, thinking to himself, this is how different life is when you've got deep pockets. Instead, Yong turned to Shane and said, "You're an A-rank swordsman. If any skill pops up that fits you, you should get it. Might save your life someday." Shane nodded solemnly. Message received. The second item was revealed next, a ring that boosted spiritual attribute by +30 and had a passive skill called Dragon Blessing. Opening bid $2 million with increments of $100,000. The room lit up again with eager bids. $2.5 million, $2.80, $3.1 million. Yong immediately leaned toward Shane. "This one's worth it." Shane nodded and quietly messaged his father. Yi, the family head, didn't hesitate. $8 million. From his perspective, it was a solid investment. Helping Shane secure a place in a top school was worth any price. And besides, in a few years, when Yong was likely gone, the ring would return to the Ji family anyway. Just then, a new voice joined in. $10 million. The room turned toward the source. It was Kenshin, the elusive king of the Qingcheng underworld. He offered a courteous nod. "President Yi, a pleasure." Yi was stunned. Why would Kenshin show up here? He wondered. Yong noticed too. He kept his head low, heart skipping a beat. If Kenshin recognized him, things could spiral fast. Kenshin's gaze sharpened as he leaned toward Yi. "One of my men was attacked recently. He was last seen near a certain warehouse. And that same night, a car from your estate was spotted nearby. Know anything about that?" Yi blinked, clearly caught off guard. I don't know anything about that." But Yi wasn't about to look weak, especially in front of Kenshin. So he raised the bid again, $12 million. Kenshin grinned coolly. "Good, I like a challenge." Then, without turning, he whispered to an assistant. "Was it confirmed that the car near the warehouse was from the Ji estate?" The assistant nodded. "Yes, it returned to their villa that same night." Kenshin's eyes narrowed, the confirmation stinging more than expected. His voice, cold and sharp, cut through the quiet air. If the Ji faction wants war, then they'll get it. But even in his fury, he warned his men, "Don't come questioning me later when things get messy. I won't hold back." Back at the auction, the Emperor Dragon Ring was officially transferred to Yong. Its gleaming gold band pulsed faintly with energy as it settled into his hand. Ga smiled warmly. "Do you like it?" Yong nodded sincerely. "I do, thank you, Uncle Ji." Shane, still adjusting to the whiplash of events, leaned closer. "Who was that guy earlier?" Yi's smile faded a little. "Kenshin, the king of the underground. Always wanted to clean up his image, step into the business world, but now he's dipping his fingers into our affairs." Yong, casually slipping the ring onto his finger, added, "With a company this big, it's only natural to attract some unwanted guests. Best we stay alert." He agreed, his expression thoughtful. As soon as the ring settled on Yong's hand, he felt a subtle surge of energy. The +30 spiritual attribute was noticeable, but what caught his attention most was the passive ability, Dragon Blessing. A +10 to luck. He blinked in pleasant surprise. "Now that's interesting." Turning to Gi, Yong reassured him. "Even if I have to carry Shane on my back, I'll make sure he gets into a top school." Uncle Ji chuckled. "No need to be so serious. You two are like brothers to me. And if you need anything more, just say the word." Shane, clearly tired but grateful, grinned. "Thanks, boss, really." Later, Shane pulled Yong aside and spoke with more honesty than usual. "Because of you, my dad was willing to invest so much. So now it's your turn. What gear do you want? Anything you pick? I'll get it." Yong looked over the collection of equipment on display. Azure Thunder Ring, +15 spiritual attribute, lightning skill boost, +20%. Molten Moon Necklace, +200 spiritual power. Dual yin-yang bracelets, +40 spiritual attribute, and a twin passive effect that boosts healing. Yong's eyes scanned the items. Not a bad haul at all, he thought. The ring for more power, the necklace for raw output. But the bracelets stood out. Their twin effect wasn't just helpful, it could help disguise the truth about his body's condition. A perfect cover if questions ever arose. Then came the sword. The moment he saw it, Yong was spellbound. Starfall Fracture, a weapon that boosted strength by 300 with a stacking buff during Starlight mode. up to 100 layers of strength boost. It was a blade made for destruction, and for someone like Yong, it was a dream. He turned to Shane, eyes gleaming. With this sword, the exam's ours. No one's touching us. Even better, he could combine it with his level 10 nullifying spell and his chauffeur technique. A deadly combo. There was a catch, of course. Each strike from the nullifier would drain a year of the user's life in exchange for double damage, and it could stack up to 99 times. Yong just smiled. Power always comes at a price. Elsewhere, far from the energy of the auction hall, Kira Knightley sat alone in her lavish home, frustrated and confused. She couldn't understand it. "Why is the G family wasting so much on that coward?" she muttered. "They'd spent more than 100 million in equipment. All for Yong Lin. It didn't make sense, unless there was something more going on behind the scenes." Just then, one of her staff entered. "Miss Kira, Lena's here. She's brought people who say they've got news." Kira perked up immediately. "Have them wait in the guest room. I'll be there shortly." Moments later, she stood before Lena and a stranger, an investigator named Huang. Huang greeted her respectfully. "Miss Kira, I believe I have information regarding the person you've been searching for." Kira's eyes sharpened. "Ling Yong?" He nodded. "Yes, but I'm afraid it's not good news." Kira's heart skipped. "What do you mean?" Huang explained slowly. A city farm had been reduced to ashes. Lives were lost. And based on the traces left behind, it was no ordinary fire. It had all the markings of hellfire, and the person connected to it was Ling Yong. Kira stood frozen. "That's impossible. He's not like that. If he was a monster, why would he have saved me?" Lena gently grabbed her arm. "Kira, calm down." But Huang continued, "The Bureau is asking for your cooperation in the case. The attacker used hellfire to defeat level 8 enemies instantly. But aside from that, not much else could be uncovered." Kira looked away, heart torn between instinct and reality. Her memories of Ling Yong didn't match what she was hearing. Still, part of her wondered, was the boy who saved her really who she thought he was? Or was he something else entirely? The mood in the room shifted the moment Huang leaned forward, his voice steady. "There's one more person of interest. Do you know someone named Yong Lin?" Kira's brows furrowed. "Yong Lin? Of course I know him. Why?" Huang gave a brief pause, then dropped the bombshell. "Our investigation suggests that Yong Lin may be Ling Yong." Kira's face went pale with disbelief. "That can't be that coward. Yong Lin's terrified of danger. He ran away and left me when things got risky. There's no way he's Ling Yong. And hellfire? Please. He probably can't even light a match." But Huang, keeping a measured gaze, asked calmly, "Are you sure about that?" Unknown to Kira, his lie detection skill had been active the whole time. Kira nodded with conviction. "I'm the only one who's seen Ling Yong up close, and I can promise you, Yong Lin isn't him." Internally, Huang noted the results. No signs of deception. He stood satisfied. "Thank you, Miss Kira. That will be all. If you do hear anything new, please call me immediately." "I will," Kira replied, still shaken. Elsewhere, under the glow of starlight, Yong looked at Shane impatiently. "Hurry up, will you? Where are we even going?" Shane grinned. "I told you, a place where you can really test that new gear." They arrived at a discreet training facility. At the desk, a friendly receptionist looked up. "Are you here for practical training?" Shane nodded. "Yes, my boss wants to try his new equipment." She glanced at them. "Your levels?" "Level 16, Yong replied. She tapped a few buttons. "All right, I'll prepare a training room for level 20 and below." But Yong tilted his head. "Can you get me one for level 40 and below?" She blinked. "Are you sure?" Yong simply nodded. After a moment of hesitation, she complied. "I'll arrange it immediately." Inside the private training room, no cameras, no interruptions, Yong unsheathed his new sword. The air grew heavy. With a focused breath, He activated his life sword and unleashed the burning reincarnation curse. One swing, thousands of training puppets shattered like glass. Another cursed strike, more destruction. He paused, then decided to try a few more forbidden techniques. Outside, loud crashes echoed through the hallway. The receptionist blinked, mildly alarmed. Shane gave a sheepish smile. He gets enthusiastic before exams. The receptionist tried to laugh it off. Well, with that much energy, he'll definitely ace them. Moments later, Yong exited the room, sweat on his brow, but a small, satisfied smile on his lips. "I'm done. I'll rest now," he muttered, then looked at the receptionist. "By the way, if I broke anything in there, do I have to pay?" She scoffed, assuming he was joking. "If a level 16 trainee actually damages a level 40 room, we should be paying you." Yong chuckled. "Fair enough, let's go, Shane." But behind them, the receptionist stepped inside and promptly let out a high-pitched scream. The room was an unrecognizable wreck. That same night at the GI family estate, shadows moved. Guards stationed outside suddenly collapsed, one after another. Inside, Yi looked up, concerned. "What's happening?" Before he got an answer, the door burst open. One of his men stumbled in, bloodied. "Sir, run!" But the warning was too late. A blur of movement, and the man was struck down violently. Kenshin entered, calm yet lethal. Yi pulled a gun instinctively, but it was slapped away in a flash. Kenshin stepped on Yi's chest, smirking. A gun. Really? Against an awakened? Foolish. Another of Kenshin's men approached. "Boss, we didn't find the targets." Kenshin looked down at Yi, his tone colder now. "So, you helped them escape, did you?" Yi gritted his teeth but said nothing. "No matter," Kenshin said, standing. "We'll take him. Let him live a little longer." His voice echoed as they dragged Yi away. Meanwhile, Yong and Shane approached the house. Something fell off. "No lights," Shane muttered. "Did the power go out?" Yong sniffed the air and his expression darkened. "Blood." Without hesitation, he ran forward. Shane followed closely. They stepped inside and froze. Bodies everywhere. The once safe home had become a scene of chaos. The scent of smoke and iron clung to the air. "No way. This isn't my house. This can't be." Shane's voice cracked with panic. Yang, steady despite the grim scene, kept a hand on his sword. "Stay alert," he said. But Shane had already darted off, shouting, "Dad, Uncle Fu, where are you?" Yang scanned the room calmly, eyes catching a note pinned under a small blade on the table. He picked it up and called Shane back. The younger boy rushed over, breathing hard. Yang read the message aloud, voice low but firm. "If you want to save your father, bring Yong Lin to the subterranean black market. For every 6 hours you waste, I'll send a piece of him." Shane's eyes burned with fury. He clenched his fists. "Kenshin, I swear I'll tear him apart." But Yang shook his head. "This happened because of me. I'll deal with it." Shane glared at him. "I'm coming too. I have to." Before he could say more, Yang moved in a blur, one light strike to the neck. Shane collapsed into Yang's arms. Yang laid him gently on the bed, brushing a hand across his shoulder. "Have faith in me, Shane. I'll bring him back." His eyes, once calm, now burned with silent resolve. In the dead of night over the rooftops of Qing City, Yang moved like a shadow. Below, the black market district buzzed with quiet menace. He reached the appointed spot just in time, but something was wrong. Laser dots flickered across his body. They had seen him. Goons emerged from the shadows, their rifles aimed. "Who do you think you are, hiding in rooftops like it's the last century?" Yang's gaze swept the area. Infrared vision. Tactical teams, too well prepared. "We've been waiting a while," one of them sneered. "Come quietly." But Yang didn't move. Instead, he muttered something under his breath. Burning reincarnation. A wave of cursed energy burst forth, smoke erupting around him. His silhouette vanished into the haze. Gunfire rang out. He was already gone. Then, chaos. Yang's figure flashed between shadows. With a flicker of movement and his fleeting dance technique, he sliced through 2 enemies, leaving them unconscious. He didn't spare anyone. No witnesses, no survivors. His secrets were too dangerous to leave behind. A sudden gust, a wind blade narrowly missed his side. A wind type awakened, level 30 or higher. Yang gritted his teeth. 2 new enemies stepped in, both wielding swords. One had long hair and a mocking smile. "You came alone? Not scared of dying?" "Capture him alive," the other added. "Boss's orders." Yang didn't answer. His eyes glowed faintly as he whispered, "Let's see how many times I can stab you." He activated Starfall Trace combined with the Life Sword Curse and charged. The short-haired man unleashed a wind-based dragon pistol, but Yang dodged with a clean arc. The long-haired opponent responded with another wind blade. Yang parried it cleanly, striking back with the second sword form. The enemy pair stumbled. "You're fast, Ashok," one muttered. "But you think you can beat us?" Yang smirked. "You don't even know my sword techniques yet." He launched the 3rd, 4th, 5th, up to the 8th sword. Each attack faster, heavier, more refined. The long-haired man's blade shattered. His partner faltered, terrified. "This guy, he's not human. He's a devil." Yang didn't hesitate. He finished the job with hellfire, reducing his enemies to ash. With the way clear, he marched toward the warehouse. "No one escapes tonight," he declared. The door exploded inward. Screams echoed as hellfire erupted within. Goons ran. Yang followed, merciless and precise. Each swing was final. He moved upstairs 1 step at a time, cutting down any who tried to flee. Then someone blocked his way. A towering man, muscles rippling, axe in hand. Shishawi, the black market's #1 fighter. Level 42 awakened. "What are you?" Shishawi asked. "Even with all those wounds, you're still standing." Yang looked him dead in the eye. "Put that axe down and I'll tell you." Shishawi grinned. "No need. I'll cut you apart and find out myself." He charged. The floor shook with each step. Yang didn't flinch. He raised his sword once more.